Manning's clenched Adderall jaw. Yep. Eckrich sausages on the Your Season is Over list, too. Yep, man, Jake Paul. Because they tried to tell Uncle Lou what to do. Y'all know the rules. Don't tell me what to do. Exactly what I told them, Nick. 100 word for word. I took it down. Alabama has the only come from behind victory on the road in playoff history. No home team has ever lost till they have the only road victory, come from behind or not. No road team's ever lost. I mean, no home team has ever lost till yesterday. Do y'all still want Kalen DeBoer fired, or did that end at halftime yesterday? Well, the Alabama fans were at Kalen DeBoer's house packing his shit up in the first quarter yesterday. A lot of deleted tweets from Alabama fans yesterday. Yeah, Notre Dame fans deleted their tweet and just changed it from Alabama to Oklahoma. You know, they had Notre Dame fans in the first half with 1 million tweets. I told you Alabama don't deserve to be in. They deleted that, and now they're posting, see, I told you Oklahoma didn't deserve to be in. People always do that in the playoffs. I don't know why. Whoever loses the first round games, people run to the internet and start typing, I told you they shouldn't have been in. Somebody has to lose, man. Losing isn't an indication that somebody shouldn't have been in. Like, somebody has to lose. Oh, Shuey, the chat in the first quarter was amazing. Amazing. Fire DeBoer. I'll pay for his plane ticket to Michigan. I'm sending DeBoer a package of U-Haul boxes. Unbelievable. The Bama fan meltdown in the first quarter was unbelievable. Now they think they're beating Indiana and winning their 212th natty. I mean, look, that was an impressive win. To come from behind down 17 on the road, the way Alabama's been playing the last 6 weeks, that's an impressive win. It's just hilarious to watch sort of the arc that Alabama fans took from the first quarter till the end of the game. It was hilarious. Oklahoma had more points at halftime than Alabama had rushing yards. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Happy Saturday. We survived the first of the 4 round 1 playoff games last night in Norman. Wild game. Alabama couldn't get out of their own way first quarter of that game. I mean, I don't know if Alabama could have played any worse than they played in the first quarter of that game. Oklahoma went up and down the field, great field position. They had Alabama was starting every possession inside their own 15-yard line, then punting out of their end zone. Oklahoma gets up to a 17-0 lead. Alabama's sitting on -3 yards rushing at halftime. But boy, about what was it, 6 or 7 minutes into the second quarter of that game, Alabama finally had a good drive, scored to make it 17-7. Then they block an Oklahoma punt, turn that into a field goal. It's 17-10. And then on Oklahoma's next possession, John Mateer threw a pick 6, tied up at 17. We go to halftime, and then it was basically all Alabama in the second half. They end up getting the win. 34-24. Kind of fitting. Well, I don't know if fitting's not the right word. It was a little ironic. Alabama, who of course has struggled in a way I find hard to explain when it comes to kicking field goals this year, was perfect on field goals yesterday, 2 for 2. And Oklahoma in the fourth quarter, with a chance to make it a one-score game, missed not one but 2 field goals in the final 3 minutes of the game, which would have made it a one-score game, would have set up a potential onsides kick, the whole deal. Missed not one but 2 field goals. And Alabama gets the win on the road in Norman, 34-24. The first, Oklahoma improves, if you want to call it that, to 0-5 lifetime in playoff games. Just an unbelievable bad record when it comes to playoff performances for Oklahoma. They made the playoffs 4 times in the 2010s under Lincoln Riley. Back when we had a 4-team playoff, lost every single time. They make their first trip to the 12-team playoff as members of the SEC yesterday and blow a 17-0 first quarter lead at home to lose in the first round yet again, this time to Alabama. Oklahoma becomes the first team in college football playoff history to lose a home game. Of course, we'd only had 4 leading up to yesterday. Last year, all 4 home teams won their first round games. It looked like Oklahoma was heading towards being the 5th in a row to do it. Instead, they absolutely implode in the second half in particular. But it really started about halfway through the second quarter with that block punt. It was pretty much all Alabama after that. From about halfway through the second quarter through the end of the game, all Oklahoma managed was 1 touchdown. And they go down. Alabama advances to play Indiana in the Rose Bowl, 34-24. Alabama gets the win on the road in Norman. The psychology of the Alabama fan yesterday during the game was hilarious, too. I mean, we were live streaming the game, and it's every other comment in the chat was fire Kalen DeBoer right now. I'll drive him to Michigan myself. I'll pay for his plane ticket to Michigan. I'll go to his house and pack up his stuff for him. I'll ship him some UPS boxes. I just ordered a U-Haul for Kalen DeBoer. Fuck Kalen DeBoer. Soft. Alabama's soft. Kalen DeBoer's soft. Ryan Grubb is soft. Ty Simpson doesn't know what he's doing. The whole team is soft. We can't run the ball. We suck. We're terrible. Get rid of DeBoer. From that to by the time the fourth quarter was over, it was bring on Indiana. We're winning our 200th natty. Indiana don't want these problems. We're going to beat the shit out of Indiana. Kalen DeBoer is a mastermind. It's unbelievable. A lot of deleted tweets yesterday from Alabama fans. Somebody in the chat this morning pointed out probably a lot of deleted tweets from Notre Dame fans too. Now, in this case, it's not just Notre Dame fans here. This happens all the time in the playoffs, even going back to the 4-team. Whoever loses in the first round, it doesn't matter who loses. Whoever loses their first round game, you've got people that will run to the internet and then go, see, I told you they didn't deserve to be in. As if losing a first round playoff game is somehow proof that that team didn't deserve to be in. That's not what that means. Somebody has to lose every game. Somebody's losing all 4 of these first round games every year. So that's no sort of proof or indication that they didn't deserve to be in the playoffs. If that's the case, then that means there are 4 teams every single year that don't deserve to be in the playoff. I mean, losing, it's sour grapes. We all know what this is. It's Notre Dame fans, whoever else fans of teams that didn't get in that thought they should. You know, last year Alabama fans did this. Every time somebody lost a first-round game, Alabama fans ran to the Twitter and the comment section to tell anybody that would listen that that means that team shouldn't have been in, and they should. Florida State fans did it the year before. In both cases, Alabama and Florida State, they then went out and lost their bowl game in embarrassing fashion. Notre Dame, in an effort to prevent that from happening to themselves this year, just backed out of playing the bowl game completely. Just said, no, we don't want those problems. We know our fans are going to run around the internet embarrassing themselves for the next 3 weeks. The last thing we need is for our football team to then go out and lose and make the fans look even stupider than they are. So Notre Dame just backed out of the game completely. But anyway, congratulations to Alabama. It's a good win. That is a good win. These the environment at Oklahoma last night was unbelievable. They had 50 Cent out there rapping for no reason. That was not that's not an easy thing to do. And, you know, Alabama's been getting a lot of negativity, a lot of bad publicity, not just since the SEC championship game, but really going back to the last 5 or 6 weeks because of just how poor their offense has played, how much worse they have looked over the last 4 or 5 games than they did sort of during that run in the middle of the season. Seems like forever ago now, but, they beat Georgia, Vandy, Tennessee, Missouri, and South Carolina 5 weeks in a row. A couple of those games were on the road. I mean, they were looking really good. And then November came around, and they looked like they'd never seen a football before. Ty Simpson looked lost. They couldn't get a first down. The running game, although never great, completely disappeared. It would have been real easy last night for Alabama, down 17-0 on the road in Norman in a playoff game, given all the negativity and sort of people bad-mouthing them over the last month or so. It would have been real easy for them to just tuck tail, roll over, and die. And they didn't do it. So we going to point and laugh at Oklahoma, obviously. They blew it. Already moved their helmet over there to their new home next to Notre Dame man over there. We're going to do plenty of that. But you got to give Alabama some credit here because this would have been a typical roll over and die situation that you would see from a lot of teams, and Alabama didn't do that. They kept plugging away. The whole, they wouldn't give up. They just wouldn't go away, that whole thing that we say around here. And they found a way to get the win. And so they move on. They will play New Year's Day in the Rose Bowl against Indiana. They're going to have to get a lot better if they're going to beat that Indiana team. So they've got, 10, 11 days, 12 days till we play that game, whatever it is. When is New Year's Day is on a Friday, I believe. Isn't it? New Year's Day on a Friday? Anyway, they got about 2 weeks to get ready for that game, but it's going to be a tough one. Indiana will be favored, that's for sure. How much will they be favored by over Bama? A touchdown? Maybe? I don't think it'll be much more than that. So we'll see. Our first Big Ten versus SEC matchup in the playoffs, we're going to get probably more second round Big Ten versus SEC matchups based on the outcome of these games today. But our first Big Ten versus SEC playoff game is set for the Rose Bowl. Indiana is already a 7-point favorite. The sports book should hire me. I was dead on then. The chat is saying the line is already out and it's 7 points. I'll take your word for it. That sounds about right to me. So yeah, we got our first SEC versus Big Ten playoff matchup set for the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. That'll be the afternoon game. The Rose Bowl has some kind of deal where they get to kick off at 4 or 5 o'clock. So it'll be that middle game probably on New Year. Remember, we have 4 games that weekend too. We've got one game on New Year's Eve, and then 3 playoff games on New Year's Day. The Rose Bowl will be that middle game on New Year's Day. We can probably look that up. Let's see. College football playoff, the Rose Bowl. Yeah, 4 o'clock. So it'll be that middle game. Texas Tech plays at noon. Indiana plays at 4. And Georgia plays at 8. You already know who they're putting in prime time. Come on, man. You already know who they're putting in prime time. What are you talking about? Yeah, so Alabama at Indiana in the Rose Bowl. Yep, there it is right there. Indiana -7. Over under set at 48.5. I like the under. I'll take the under there. Going to be a good game. Going to be a good one. We'll have plenty of time to talk about that one, though. We, of course, have games coming up today to talk about, which is the point of the show, kind of, sort of. The kickoff show. So let's get to that. The rigged wheel. Yes, thank you. There's the links for the rigged wheel. You guys know the deal with the rigged wheel. We spin it at the end of the show. It picks a name. If it picks your name, you can make a pick today on any game you want. If you get that pick right, I will reward you by sending you back twice whatever you sent me. You guys know the deal with the rigged wheel, right? Yeah. So if you want to get your name on the rigged wheel for the end of the show, any Cash App, any PayPal will do the trick. I lost 2 bets on the Oklahoma-Alabama game last night. You already know I had picked Oklahoma to win. I bet it. So I had Oklahoma on the money line. That was a loser. And then the comment section bet last night, we put up a poll at the beginning of all these live streams, and I make a bet based on whatever the chat thinks. So the poll last night at the beginning of the stream was how many points scored in the first half, over or under 27.5. And it ended up being 34 points scored in the first half. So it went way over, but the chat had voted for the under. So I am 0-2 on bets in the play. Well, I'm 0-1. The chat is 0-1 for a combined total of 0-2. You need to stop doubting this Bama team. You need to stop doubting them. You wanted Kalen DeBoer fired in the first quarter yesterday, bud. Yeah, anybody that doesn't doubt this Bama team is just a blind homer. Yeah. Any Bama fan that wants DeBoer gone. I spent an hour yesterday in the stream because there was Alabama fans in the stream. We're going to beat Indiana by 14. Bama's winning a natty. I spent an hour trying to get one of them to bet me. None of them would do it. Now Jarvis is the next one saying, bet against us if you want to. I do want to. Do you? How about this, Jarvis? Bet on Bama if you want to. You want to bet on Bama, Jarvis? I want to bet on Indiana. Do you want to bet on Bama? Do you believe do you believe your own words, Jarvis? Something tells me you don't. Something tells me that you don't. Suddenly, you're thinking, why are you thinking about it? Weren't you thinking about it 20 seconds ago when you typed out bet against Bama if you want to? Weren't you thinking then? Why are you waiting until now to think? All right, tell you what, Jarvis, I'll give you some time to think, buddy. I'll give you some time to think. Let's run through today's games, all right? I've done prediction videos for all of these, so you already know who I think's going to win these games. I'm taking Texas A&M over Miami for the same reason I took Oklahoma over Bama, because they're at home. That's literally it. I think this is going to be another great game today at noon. Either team could win. Similar to the Alabama-Oklahoma game, I think it could come down to turnovers here. Both of these quarterbacks are prone to turnovers at inopportune times. And at least this season, they've come in bunches for both. Marcel Reed, that game against Texas, threw interceptions on back-to-back plays in the fourth quarter against Texas to seal the deal there. They ended up losing that game. Carson Beck, of course, going back to last year, it seems like he never throws one interception. If he throws one, he's going to throw 2 or 3. So which quarterback can avoid the costly mistake in that game? And can Miami overcome the home crowd? Tough place to play. But this is going to be a good game. 2 good defenses. Miami's offensive line against Texas A&M's front 4 is going to be a great matchup to watch in the trenches there. 2 pretty high-level quarterbacks when they're on their game. Marcel Reed, of course, brings a little bit of running ability to the table, whereas Carson Beck, thought that he can't run, but, he's maybe he can get you 3 or 4 yards on third and short on a scramble every once in a while, whereas Marcel Reed has a little bit more with his legs there. But this is going to be a good game. Le'Veon Moss is supposed to play today for Texas A&M, the running back that's been out forever. So if he's anywhere close to healthy, that's a big deal. First playoff appearance for both of these teams here. And most importantly, this is the We're Back Bowl. Both of these teams have found themselves on the We're Back list for many years now. No conference championships in the last 10 years. No playoff wins. That's going to end today for one of these two teams. One of these two teams is guaranteed to come off the We're Back list today, and one team is going to punch their ticket right back onto the We're Back list for next season. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Texas A&M's a 3-point home favorite. This one comes on noon on ABC. The over-under is at 48.5. I'm taking Texas A&M because they're at home. Tulane at Ole Miss and James Madison at Oregon. Ole Miss and Oregon are both significant favorites, starting out with the Tulane at Ole Miss game. It is interesting because you get to see Ole Miss here without Lane Kiffin. So what do they look like? Are they affected at all? Will that even be noticeable in a game like this against a group of five team? A group of five team, by the way, that they've already played this season and beaten 45-10 earlier in the year, also in Oxford. Both of these teams will have new head coaches next year. Lane Kiffin has already moved on. He's at LSU. Summerall, the new coach at Florida, is coaching in this game. He will be on the sideline. He is sticking with Tulane through the end of their playoff run, which likely comes today. Not a lot of defense here in this one, probably, although Ole Miss did hold Tulane to 10 points earlier in the year. Ole Miss does have some defensive liabilities, but the over-under on this game, 57.5. So expecting a lot of points in that one, and Ole Miss is favored by 17.5. I don't think we're going to get an upset in either of these two games, but I would say that an upset would be more likely in the Tulane game than it would the James Madison game. But I do think Ole Miss will win the game. My bet on both of these G5 games, I took the G5 teams plus the points in both games. That's betting with my heart instead of my head. We all want to watch good games. You know, we all hate blowouts. Y'all complain about it all the time, every time it happens. So I think I let my heart override my head, and I took Tulane and James Madison both with the points today, which I could end up regretting. James Madison at Oregon. An even bigger spread in this one. Oregon favored by 21. So not very many people giving James Madison a chance here. Cross-country trip for James Madison to Eugene, a very difficult place to play any time of year. But again, these home playoff environments going to be especially difficult for JMU to go on the road and be competitive in this one. Feels weird to say in a playoff game, but if you're an Oregon fan, you're almost hoping, let's just get to the second half with a lead and take all the starters out so nobody gets hurt, so we'll be ready to go on New Year's for our next game. But I'm not going to badmouth Tulane and James Madison, and we kind of know what this is here. We know why they're in the playoffs. Very few people like it, but the rules are what they are. So we'll see. But that's the rundown of the playoff games today. Do we have bowl games on today? Great question. No. We don't. Yesterday we did. Memphis and NC State. NC State got up to a 31-7 halftime lead. The final score, 31-7. It's like they had a meeting at halftime. Look at it, 31-7. And that was the score at halftime. It's like they had a meeting at halftime, the two coaches, and they just said, all right, look, this is a meaningless bowl game, what the fans say. Obviously, Memphis Memphis coach like, obviously we're not going to win. Let's just roll the helmet out there in the second half and get out of here. And both teams agreed. and they did absolutely nothing in the second half. 38 points scored in the first half, 0 points scored in the second half. Final score 31-7. Kennesaw State got worked over pretty good, too, by Western Michigan. This is another one, too. I turned this game on. I forgot this game came on at 11 a.m. yesterday, and it was like 11:05. And I was like, oh, shit, there's a bowl game on. Let me turn it on. I turned it on. There was 13 minutes to go in the first quarter, and Western Michigan was up 14-0. And I was like, well, this game's unwatchable. Final score in that one, 41-6. Kennesaw State, after winning their conference championship game, got absolutely worked in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Shout out to Western Michigan for the win there. And then we already spent a lot of time at the beginning of the show talking about Alabama and Oklahoma. Alabama, of course, won 34-24. They move on to the Rose Bowl to play Indiana on New Year's Day at 4 p.m. Now, what are we eating today? This is an odd weekend. It's the weekend before Christmas. It's 2 weeks before New Year's, which, of course, are massive food days for not just me, but everybody, right? You have your Christmas meal, or a lot of people do a big Christmas Eve thing. You, of course, have New Year's Eve parties and New Year's Day. You have your traditional, like, New Year's Day meal where you're supposed to eat pork and black-eyed peas and collard greens and all that, right? So today's kind of a weird weekend. It's a big weekend because it's playoff weekend. You want to eat something good, right? But do you really want to load up today? Because if you do, that's going to be 3 weekends in a row that you're just binge eating. So what are y'all doing today on the food front? Now, I, of course, am on my own all day today. The lady left me. She's gone. So whatever I do for food, I've got to do it myself. So I don't have a lot of time being there with the apron and the turning the oven on and shit. Like, I don't have that kind of time today. So I've got to do quick shit. So what am I going to do? Now, I did order chicken wings yesterday for dinner before the playoff game. And I ordered enough, where I couldn't eat them all. So I've got chicken wings in there that I will heat up at some point today. I also have a meat and cheese tray in there that would be quick and easy. I can just go grab it out of the fridge, bring it in here and munch on that. I've got a fruit bowl in there. I've got some, you know what? I got some French bread pizzas in there. Now, I do have to cook those, but when it comes to cooking, that's relatively easy and on the low end in terms of the amount of time that it takes to do that. You run in there, cut the oven on, run right back in here, wait about 10 minutes, run back in the kitchen, throw the pizzas in the oven, come back in here, wait 20 minutes, run back in there, grab the pizzas, bring it in here. So that's pretty quick. I could get away with that fairly easily. Got some pimento cheese. How about some pimento cheese? A lot of y'all are sleeping on pimento cheese or just pretending that you don't like it. The jalapeno pimento cheese slaps. Jalapeno pimento cheese slaps. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Pimento cheese slaps. A lot of y'all don't like it. I know it's a southern thing, too, I think. I don't... Do they even sell pimento cheese up north? I don't know. Yeah. Ole Miss and Tulane play at 3:30. Yeah. I mean, I had everything up on the screen for the majority of the show. There you go. Noon, 3:30, and 7:30. Those are your kickoff times today. Noon, 3:30, and 7:30. Indiana being favored over Alabama in football, how the tables have turned. Yeah, well, unfortunately, the people that set the lines have watched football this year. and have come to the conclusion that Indiana's most likely better than Alabama. Yeah. Eating leftover pad thai. You should never have leftover pad thai because you never should have had it the first time. So that's one of those things there where I got to look at you and go, that sounds like a problem you created for yourself there on that deal there with the pad thai. Bama will smoke Indiana. You won't put $1 on that. You don't even believe your own bullshit. There's a 0% chance you'll bet on that. I feel some weird juju with Ole Miss today, being an upset team on suicide watch. I don't know. What if it's the opposite? What if they show up today looking to prove a point? I don't know. It could go either way. And I do think in the bigger games down the road for Ole Miss, assuming they win today, the bigger games down the road for Ole Miss, I do think they're going to miss Lane Kiffin. We went through this with Alabama fans when they lost Nick Saban. Oh, this is Alabama. We're still going to win every game we play by 100 and win the Natty every year. Are you sure? But I don't know, man. If that's the case, then how important really was Nick Saban? If somebody else can come in and do exactly what Saban did, then was Saban really the greatest coach of all time? And it turns out, yeah, he was the greatest coach of all time, and Alabama fans were just delusional, and that losing Nick Saban was going to matter. And I don't know, man. I don't know if it'll show today because it's such a talent mismatch between Ole Miss and Tulane. But when you start playing competition that is more closely aligned with you in terms of talent, that's where coaching really comes out. And I do think losing Lane Kiffin is going to matter. I just don't know that it matters enough to affect the outcome of the game today against Tulane. And I do think there's a possibility that Ole Miss, the team, comes out extra motivated today. In addition to all the other reasons to be motivated, first time ever making the playoffs. It's a home game. It's a home playoff game. In addition to just the regular motivating factors that Ole Miss has working in their favor today, they have the added sort of fuel on the fire that the staff that's left there has spent the last 2 weeks, preaching to this team. People think you can't win without Kiffin. They're doubting you now. They think you're not any good and you're only winning games because Kiffin was like, I think it's possible they come out today looking to prove a point. But I do think that not having Kiffin is a net negative for Ole Miss once they get deeper into playoffs. I like pimento cheese, but not just pimento cheese sandwich on plain bread toasted with spam or spam. Go Canes, us versus the world. Yeah, everybody does that gimmick now. It's every team versus the world. Last year it was Ohio State versus the world, Bama versus the world. The Notre Dame fans right now are pretending that it's Notre Dame versus. Well, that's a popular thing to do now. How everybody thinks everybody hates them. That's how the us against the world thing came about. Now everybody does it. Every team, every coaching staff, every fan base, they all do that now. Everybody thinks everybody hates them. Every fan base thinks the AP poll is biased against them. Every fan base thinks ESPN is biased against them. Every fan base thinks the announcer calling the game is biased against them. The referees are biased against them. Any commentator who picks them to lose a game just hates them and is biased against them. It's us against the world. Yeah. Yeah. The sports talking heads seem convinced first round bye teams are going 4-0 this year. They went 0-4 last year. I don't know. I haven't seen any predictions on round 2 games where we don't even know the matchup. I mean, I guess you can start making predictions now on Indiana's first round game because you know who they're playing, but I don't know. The seeding was different last year too, is one of the reasons that the first round bye teams went 0-4. You had 2 teams get byes last year that were nowhere near 2 of the best 4 teams in the country. I think Miami is back. Back to what? Or back to where? They're not back to the playoffs because they never made them before. They're in the playoffs for the first time. They're not back to winning conference championships because they didn't win one. What are they back to? They could win today. They're only a 3-point underdog. They could win today. Kirby didn't win 9 games his first year at Georgia, and he lost to a bad Vanderbilt team. Yeah, I don't know what point you're making or who you're trying to compare Kirby to, but that was Kirby's first year ever as a head coach. Ever. So I don't know who you're trying to compare that to. Last night seemed like a battle of average teams, says Nick Koenig. Definitely 2 teams with little to no offense. So those offenses are bad for both those teams. They do both have good defenses. Rick would have made the 12-team playoff at least 5 times at UGA. He would have made the 4-team playoff 5 times. What are you eating today? You'll have to rewind the video 10 minutes. Y'all aren't going far in the playoffs with that quarterback for Georgia. There's somebody who hasn't watched college football the last 5 years. Google the name J.J. McCarthy, Stetson Bennett, and Will Howard. I'm man enough to take you up on that Indiana bet. Okay, you had about 15 minutes to think about it, and that's the decision you came to. That makes me happy. There's the PayPal and the Cash App. Send any amount of money you can afford to lose to that PayPal or Cash App, and it's a bet. Bama and Indiana. Right now, the total in the Rose Bowl is 48.5. I would bet the under. Me too. Talked about that a few minutes ago when we went through the games, but yeah, I like the under in that one too. Oh, you already sent it. Yep, I got it. All right. Just remind me, when the game ends, especially if Bama wins, just remind me about the bet. I'll look it up on Cash App, and I'll send you back twice that amount right there. Pick 6 can change momentum so quick. Yeah, Oklahoma was rolling 17-0, and they had the block punt. And then was it their very next possession they threw a pick 6? And, you go from up 17-0 to tied at 17 in a matter of 4 or 5 minutes. And then Alabama completely dominated the second half. Just dominated defensively. Oklahoma couldn't do shit in the second half. I'm taking Indiana. Oklahoma never recovered from the dropped pass that would have given them a 24-7 lead. I will never pick Oklahoma to win a playoff game again unless they're playing Rice. Yeah, I thought it was a Lincoln Riley thing. Apparently not. It's just an Oklahoma thing. Yeah, Bama outscored OU 34-7 after being down 17. Yeah, they were down 17-0. Bama scored the next 27 points to take a 27-17 lead. Oklahoma scored then, and Alabama scored again. But yeah, just because I don't bet doesn't mean I don't believe in Alabama. That's true. It just means there's no way to prove that. How many field goals would a Bama kicker miss in round 2? That's another thing we talked about. But Bama's kicker was 2 for 2, and Oklahoma's kicker was missing field goals, which is unusual. Alabama's field goal situation has been atrocious this year, but not yesterday. It was 2 for 2. -3. I don't know what that means. You talking about the Miami Texas A&M game? And Texas A&M is -3. Yeah, if that's what you're saying. But you just typed -3, and you just typed it again. I don't know what that means when you just type -3. I can't believe Bama didn't have 300 yards of offense yesterday. Well, I can. I mean, those are two good defenses. I mean, everybody's going to struggle to run the ball against Oklahoma. Bama struggles to run the ball against anybody. But those are two good defenses there. In what quarter will Alabama abandon the run against Indiana? Alabama can win a natty with a bad OC and a soft head coach. No, they can't. They're not winning the natty. You know, as the saying goes, it's hard to beat the same team twice. Yeah, that's not true. Why are we typing -3 over and over again? Texas A&M is so weird. Yeah, they are weird. Texas A&M is extremely weird. Texas A&M is extremely weird. Who is Stephen Bennett? I have no idea. Texas A&M showing off their best cheerleaders on game day. Oh yeah, look, they got the male cheerleaders out with the yell practice and the weird fucking hand routines. Oklahoma lost to a teddy bear and ice cream practices. Yeah, college game day is on. All right, let's do this. What am I looking for? Yeah, that. Shout out to that. All right, shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring the kickoff show this morning. If you tuned into the call-in show on Tuesday, Sleeper has a new promotion going. We picked a sleeper play on Tuesday during the call-in show. For yesterday. And we missed. We had John Mateer less than 1.5 passing touchdowns, and he had 2. 2 is more than 1.5. So you see the red arrow there next to John Mateer. So we missed that one. We did hit the Ryan Williams pick, it looks like. We did hit the Ryan Williams pick. We had less than 46.5 receiving yards. That hit. He only had 5 receiving yards. And then our third pick is in one of the games today. Carson Beck, less than 235.5 passing yards. So that play is dead. But remember, if you trailed that play and you sent the email in like you were supposed to, then you're eligible for that $100 giveaway. Y'all want to do another one? Y'all want to do another community pick and another $100 giveaway? We can do a pick on today's games. Y'all want to do it? Let's do it. Let's do it. College football. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to pick the player, and then I'm going to put a poll up. Y'all are going to vote. And however the poll goes, that's the pick I'm going to make. Y'all remember the rules from Tuesday, or do I need to go over it again? Well, let's do the picks first, and then we'll go over the rules for the giveaway. Let's do the picks first. All right, up first, we're going to start with we're going to go with Carson Beck again. Carson Beck, total passing yards. All right, let's get the poll going. Carson Beck, pass yard. Oh, wait a minute, that's not right. Start a poll. Here we go. Beck passing yards. Over 228.5. Under 228.5. All right, we got to do this quick, so I'm only going to leave it up for about 10 or 15 seconds. But do you think Carson Beck's going to have over 228.5 passing yards or under 228.5 passing yards? Whatever the results of the poll are, that's the pick I will put in on Sleeper. And we're going to make 3 picks today. Fake ROTC male cheerleaders versus homeless Ed Reed. What a matchup. Yeah, it's going to be a great game. Little disappointing that it comes on at noon. You know, you kind of want it to like build up over the course of the day to the primetime game. And I'm sure Oregon fans are excited to watch their team play in primetime tonight. But just as a college football fan, I would have liked to, if I could have picked the order of games, I would have had James Madison, Oregon at noon, Tulane, Ole Miss in the afternoon, Miami, Texas A&M at night. Last night seemed like a battle of average teams. Yeah. All right, let's end the poll and see what y'all think about Carson Beck's passing numbers today. Carson Beck, y'all like the over, all right? On Tuesday when we did Carson Beck's passing numbers, y'all took the under. Y'all have changed your mind. Y'all now want more than 228.5. So I will click more. All right, we're going to do Marcel Reed touchdown passes now. The A&M quarterback. Will he have more than 1.5 or less than 1.5? Get your votes in now. They did it because of the NFL games tonight. No, that has nothing to do with it. The times of the games are set ahead of time. Bama fans all hyped up, but still can't sit down from how bad Georgia pushed it in. College football doesn't want to put the better games up against the NFL. Yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with it. All right, this poll's not even close, so we can go ahead and end this one. Y'all like Marcel Reed to have more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. So it looks like y'all are expecting some offense in this game. You took more on Carson Beck's passing yards and more on Marcel Reed's passing touchdowns. Let's see. Might as well stick with the quarterback theme. Dante Moore, more or less than 231.5 passing yards. This will be the third and final one, the Oregon quarterback. Dante Moore pass yards. More than 231.5. Less than 231.5. All right, start the poll. I have a feeling I know where this is headed. I have a feeling I know where this is headed. This one's actually closer than the last one. I'll leave it up for another minute or so because this one's even closer than the last one. All right, here we go. I'm going to end it. And y'all like more. 63% of you say more than 231.5 passing yards. So we click view entry. There's our 3 picks. Carson Beck, more than 228.5 passing yards. Marcel Reed, more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Dante Moore, more than 231.5 passing yards. And we will submit entry. There we go. $20 to win $84.60. So good luck to us. Now, as far as the $100 giveaway, let me show you how that works. I think I have a graphic I can put up for that. And then I will explain it like we did on Tuesday. Where is it? Where is it? There you go. Here you go. All right. Step number 1, trail our community slip on sleeper. So here's the there's the plays again. What you're going to do is if you've already downloaded the sleeper app, that's great. If you haven't downloaded the sleeper app, you'll have to download the sleeper app. Now, when you download the app with promo code LOU, L-O-U, they're going to give you a free $20 play. So you don't even have to make a deposit. You can use that free $20 play to trail this same play that we just built here. Carson Beck, Dante Moore, Marcel Reed. Once you submit your play on Sleeper, you'll see this same screen that's on my phone right here. You screenshot it, and then you send that screenshot to that email address. Make sense? Download the Sleeper app, promo code LOU, L-O-U. They're going to give you a free $20 play. Use that free $20 play to trail the same picks we just made on the show. You're then going to screenshot your pick and email it to hmasleeperpicks@gmail.com. The winner gets $100 redeemable on the Sleeper app. Make sense? So you don't even have to make a deposit to enter the contest. All you got to do is download the app with the promo code LOU, L-O-U. Now, if you do decide to make a deposit on the Sleeper app, they have a 100% deposit match bonus, dollar for dollar, up to $100. So you deposit $100, they're going to give you $200, or they'll give you another $100. So you've now got $200. I think everybody gets that. Did I do a good enough job explaining that? Is there anybody that doesn't understand? You're just going to do the same sleeper pick that we just picked out, screenshot it, and send it to hmasleeperpicks@gmail.com. It's right there. There it is. You can screenshot this now if you need that email address. Winner gets $100 redeemable on the Sleeper app. We did this on Tuesday, but because we lost the John Mateer pick yesterday, so that play's already dead, so we might as well do another one. Give y'all another chance to win. Give everybody another chance to win. All right. Not a lot of games to talk about today, so we're going to get out of here a little early. It's time for the rigged wheel. If you want to get your name on the wheel and you haven't sent it in yet, now's your last chance. Any PayPal or any Cash App. Get your name added to the rigged wheel. We're going to spin the wheel. Whatever name it lands on, you can make any pick you want today against the spread. If you get your pick right, I will send you back twice what you spent or what you sent Uncle Lou. It's literally that easy. Yeah. They say it can't be any easier. That is what they say. They say it cannot be any easier. All right, here we go. Let's pull it up and see what's going on. That is what they say. All right, activity. Hogman is going on the wheel. I don't know who this is. David P. David P. Is this a bet you want to make with me on the Bama game, or are you sending this in as your pick for the rigged wheel? I got Jarvis sent his in. It says this is for a bet against you on the Bama game, but David P., are you still in here? Okay, that's a bet on the Bama game, not the rigged wheel. Well, I have great news then. Let me just make sure I didn't miss something. Yeah, I have great news for you, Hog Man. We don't even have to spin the wheel. You win the rigged wheel, Hog Man. You're the only one on the wheel today. I think this is the first time that's ever happened. Hog Man rigged wheel wants Oregon. Hog Man rigged wheel. Oregon minus 20. Let me just make sure that's the current line. See if we can find you a better one. NCAA football. Yeah, it is 21. All right, good luck to Hog Man. And Pettit and Jarvis, y'all just remind me New Year's Day after the Rose Bowl, after the Bama-Indiana game, if Bama wins, just remind me that we had a bet on the game. I'll pull it up on the PayPal and the Cash App and send you back twice what y'all sent me if you win the bet. Rules are rules, rigged or not. Do you think Carson Beck can have a monster game? Could he? He could. Yeah. More important than having 400 passing yards, this is true for either quarterback, I think, in that game. More important than that is not turning the ball over. Both quarterbacks have got to protect the ball here. The game Texas A&M lost to Texas, Marcel Reed had 2 bad interceptions late in the fourth quarter of that game that sealed the deal. And we all know sort of Carson Beck's demons when it comes to interceptions and coming in bunches. The SMU game, multiple interceptions. Louisville game, multiple interceptions. Lou, does Sleeper have Carson Beck yards? Yeah, we just that was one of the plays we just did. $228.5. That's one of the plays we just put in. We did a poll. The chat voted over 228.5 passing yards. Yep, download the app, promo code Lou. They're going to give you a free $20 play. You can use that free $20 play to copy the community pick we did here, which will enter you in for that chance to win $100. Or you can make your own play, but they're going to give you a free $20 play. And then if you want to make a deposit, they'll match it dollar for dollar up to $100. Promo code Lou, L-O-U. The link is in the description of the video. You can download it. Oregon's going to be up 42-0 at halftime. I don't know if it'll be that bad, but that's possible, I think. Florida State, Notre Dame fans think the rigged wheel is unfair. Well, of course they do. Yeah, of course they do. Of course they do. All right, y'all. I'm going to get out of here. I'll be on at noon right here on Lutu for Texas A&M and Miami. Come hang out. We'll watch some college football playoff games today. Enjoy your Saturday. Good luck to everybody's team today, and I'll see you in a couple hours for Texas A&M and Miami.